Alright, Jason here. There's been a lot of work done in the past month or so, even longer research. Um, Long time coming, but I finally made it to a stopping point. Um, I've done all kinds of things. Started with traveling, working back when President Trump first got elected, and just going from job to job, um, up until now, or last couple of years, I was working, and then I just took a hiatus, just kind of taking it easy. I had a lot of information, a lot of stuff on my mind that I needed to kind of narrow into what I've come to put in place, or as ease of access and simple adjusting while maneuvering. So um, I've done a lot of traveling. Just not as like one would like to. More of kind of like a messenger type thing. Um, Lack of funds. Um, you know, no time for you know different aspects as far as personalization goes. Um, Different things like coming home on time, or calling before you leave, or letting anybody where you are. It's late nights and stuff like that. So it led me to research. Wikipedia is a big source, big help. Wikipedia, shouts out to Wikipedia. Alexa, volume 3. Um, it led me to a lot of different places on Wikipedia, and PDFs from privacy policies to different things of that nature, just so that I can have that barrier of protection. Whereas if anything ever happened where if maybe something was a little too simple for somebody in my position to put in place, and I did something to cause something bad to happen as far as technology goes. So I'm just kind of like trying to make sure that everything is in place in case that happens. And I was doing my research, and just kind of wrapping my head around all of my spiritual, my material, my emotional, my just current revenue, and maneuvering as far as where we are in today's time and standards, and place and things like that. So I've done all kinds of research as far as that goes. Um, yeah, so I mean, it kind of ended up being, I think, the last stop as far as that goes. I started with around about, I would say a good start for where I'm describing is, for the fun of it, it's it's soccer. There's a documentary on a team for England, I believe. I think it's England or Great Britain or something like that. And I read up on them on Wikipedia, and then it ended in Mainz, Germany. And then I started to once I got my wrap around, like my barrier and my protection and my kind of thoroughness and my legibility and my my dialogue and things like that. Based off of everything I know, then I started to crunch time. I started to really, really focus because I kind of knew these things. I was reading up on them and they started to tighten up. They started to kind of. But like I said, it was, we're in today's technology time and we're in today's day and age where we need, codes and all kinds of formulas and stuff like that in order to run these things seamlessly. So I started actually doing that. I started, but first things first, I started to realize these things are very, very simple. Like this camera that I'm talking on right now, I just hit a button and it starts. So I mean, it's kind of cliche to say that but it's really not as bad as it was anymore. For me, anyways, personalization of optimization has come a long way. So shouts out to Google for that, and AdSense, if you will, and different things of that nature. I've worked on as far as optimization, simplifying things, um, but formulas and things like that. I've done, trading on forex. It's led me really really to the same exact spot I started at, which is good. I mean, it's good to kind of like be able to figure out all this stuff and narrow it down and still have like a protection of knowing these things and being able to you know defend yourself in any circumstance and still have the knowledge to know that you can, go anywhere in the world and say, hey, I kind of know what's going on here. Do you mind if I say something? Or something like that. And then, I mean, that was my forex, but it's jumping up to where we are pretty much. Recently I just checked my email for my statement. Like I said, I left off where I started and I'm starting where I left off. So there's really nothing in my account. It's just, when you're dealing with world issues, um, and that's the thing. Like, yeah, I'm dealing with world issues. I'm dealing with the different things like, you know, um, I'm not like a scientist or anything. I'm not like coming up with a formula for the next vaccine of COVID or anything like that. No, I'm not doing that. But I am simplifying things as far as simplification goes. Now that's repetitive. I'm sorry for that, but seriously, it's a thing. So basically, I've done different things as far as my formulas and things, and hard drive space, and as far as USB hard drives, disk cards, and Wi-Fi and things like that. Just trying to configure it all, but still without breaking the law. So, which leads me to threats and possible malware and things like that, sending data to entailed the details in which the source was spotted and denied access, with attachments to different things that may or may not be vulnerable for the next potential threat or even the threat at hand. So, doing that with Microsoft and Windows, different codes, starting out with different, theories and things like that, getting down to more specific details, as far as like, where to put um, each, sequence of where it is going to fit into like let's say you open up OneDrive, right? But you're doing it from the system. You're doing it manually. You go into your 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 computer file holder, or your it's not control panel, but the one that kind of the I forget what it's called, but it's a main platform for your software, um, that that you know your hardware drives. So basically, you go to that, and you're working in manually how to add something to OneDrive that you don't know how to do otherwise. So that means you take note of it. You write it down on a piece of paper, and you kind of figure out what you're trying to do, and then you type it in, however you may do that, notepad or anything like that, and you insert it into your OneDrive document file. You open up OneDrive, and there it is. And then that's what I did, and it kind of cascaded from there, um, at this stopping point. But it was tough because I thought I was really, really in for it a few more than a couple times. So basically, signing up for different things like that. I'm not talking about like uh, you know, free stuff or anything like that. I am talking about, because like I said, I'm pretty much dead broke, but just being in the position I am, had I started out with like $100,000, yeah, I'd probably left off with $100,000, but I started out with nothing, so I'm literally at nothing. So like basically, you have your accessibility that you're trying to implicate, and in the meantime you're trying not to get into trouble, and at the same time you're not trying to be too loud about it either, because there's people out there that are threatening your privacy. So these things that protect you, these PDFs, these downloads for privacy policies, and different acclamations of documents that protect you from not only the law, also protect you from threats. So different things like that I've worked on. Not only that, finding out different things as far as accessibility to how to speaking on working your way backwards from having not to spend too much money and kind of maximize your profits. There's ways to do that too. um, but it's basically not anything I've done. So the only thing that I can relate to that basically would be informal, as far as basically working your way into your file drive through manually, basically going into new tabs on bookmark extensions and favorite bars, things like that. So I mean, have a cocktail. No, but seriously, different things like that. I've been able to customize on my laptop, and there are optimizations for personalization out there that I believe that other people have reached because of it. And different things like that, like Bing and Google Chrome and Internet Explorer. Like I'm on a I'm on a Windows platform. It's an Asus, but at this point, it's like I said, for me, it's minimal, um, because of smart technology making it so simple, and having to stress the fact that it's so hard to stay with stay in the game with your head down and your nose up, while not being spotted, but also not being taken out by somebody that just the concern in itself is enough to make you turn away. So I mean, with personalization, optimization, and things like that, custom fits and tailor fits and things of that nature, having the capability to work your way manually but also have the optimization to personalize your, you know, your status. I mean, it's not as easy as one would think. But the thing is, it's easier said than done. So I mean, when you think about it, it's tough because you have all these things that you're doing for different people, or you know people in your lives and things like that, and you feel like you have no time to do anything for yourself. So I mean, it's I mean that's where I'm coming from, but I still have no complaints. I mean, this is just the start. This is actually like I'm ready to just take this to the next level, because I mean, it's definitely like it's definitely um it's a it's a learning experience, that's for sure. But the thing is, it's like once you come to this level, where you start somewhere and you reach a point where it's almost as if you're unstoppable, right? But there's still some things holding you back. For me, it's lack of money. I don't have any money, but that's not that hard to come across. Um, as far as computing power goes, I mean, yeah, we're there. As far as optimization goes, we're there. As far as you know, I mean, there's nothing you can't do anymore. You can do anything now, and the only thing that is holding you back is having the fit. Having the personalized experience, and I mean it's um it's very it's very exciting. It's like it's 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 something that no one else can claim or do, and I can't do it either. I can't claim this on my own. I can't do it on my own. And thanks for Microsoft and Google and Bing and Internet Explorer and Yahoo. Yahoo's a big determinator. Forex has saved all of us. I mean, in the meantime, because I mean, honestly, I mean, until I post this, or at least until like there's really no way of telling like what I've done with all of this. So I mean, not that I'm some sort of great. I mean, it's like I said, I have nothing. So it's definitely not something to brag about. But it is monumental, because I mean the things I've done with Forex, the things I've done with Microsoft, the things I've done with Google, the things I've done with Yahoo, and really Yahoo isn't really there yet. I haven't really done much with Yahoo. As far as like default goes and browsers and stuff, I mean, yeah, that's optimization, that's personalization, but I haven't done much with Yahoo because I mean they haven't reached that part yet. They have they have the process, I guess you can say, or at least the platform power, but they're not there as far as computing goes. So I mean, but still, shouts out to the little guy or big guy or whatever you want to name it. As far as Forex goes, um, I left off at South African Ren, Japanese yen, South African rupee, Japanese yen. Their currencies together are pretty much flawless, based off of where I went default. Because I had nothing in my account. I have like $4.75 in my account, but it's because I spent that money on that currency, and my buys and sells were pretty much the last straw. And so once my account was liquidated, I mean it's still I saved it on file and everything. I can't describe it other than things that I believe in. They always tell you, You shouldn't invest in anything except for like things that you believe in and things like that. So according to what we're going on in the world today and things like that, different experiences that people are having, um, it's different experiences that we have with the world, and who we go to for help, and how you're able to keep up with news and relations and things like that. um, it's not very hard to come across this type of stuff. It's not very hard to, as long as you kind of keep it up here. And then so with forex, I mean, yeah, their currencies, South African rupee and Japanese yen. If I had like $100 or $1,000, oh man, I'd be so into it right now. Cause like, but like I said, it's working. It's just I had to free my mind because I had so much stuff to, I was thinking about so much stuff. And it all started with research and wrapping around my head around like making sure that me and my personal area is okay. So, I mean, different things like that, having to make sure that not only me personally am okay, but having concerns about the world and, our country and, different places that, may or may not be in trouble. But not only that, keep it as Christ-like as possible, because without him, we wouldn't have any of this, right? So, that's where I kind of ended up, was like, making sure that everyone was okay with the minimum amount of money that I could possibly afford. I mean, literally, if I had, if I started with nothing and I made $100,000, I'd probably end up with nothing, as a finished product. So I mean, you know, um, I mean, it's great, it's great that to be this free now, but the thing is, I mean, as far as details go, Microsoft and Bing and things like that, if you ever wonder like what it is on Earth, how you can manually, not override, but manually like manually input, like implement what it is that you need out of your experience or your platform or platforms. It's basically your first question, your first thought. It's like, it's, and then you go with that, you run with it. And however detailed you are, however thorough you are, you need to stick with that, because, and whatever it is you feel like you lack, like, you always need to ask, like, what am I missing? What am I missing? Because if you feel like there's any sort of threat out there, whether it be with or against you, you need to make sure you have the right information. So, as far as that goes, I mean, creating folders is one thing, but I mean, it's more of a process than anything. So, I mean, if you can manage to come up with your own like personalization optimization process, I'm all for it. But it's very tough at this moment, especially coming from the bottom. Um, so I mean, really, all it takes is, I mean, it takes all of it. It takes is all you got, really, because I mean, to kind of match what I've done, but to kind of personalize it into like different sections. I'd start with, if you have a laptop, if you don't have a laptop, if you're at a library watching this, or if you're Warren Buffett watching this, I would start with, research on Wikipedia, and to work your way from the end, which is pretty much where like, as far as currency goes. To start off, I would start with Mainz, Germany, me personally, as far as personalizing optimization. I would look that up on Wikipedia and find out as much about it as possible, and then That's me personally. So like if you have any ideas of your own, like you don't have to look outside of where you are to figure it out. It's basically starting with that first initial wherever you made contact first. It's very important that however you stayed away from or kept in tune with what it is you're doing in order to keep your personal side, your personal stuff personal. You basically work from there, and if you have contact, if you don't have contact. Me, I've been a bear and hibernating, but I've had plenty of people to talk to, and Alexa has helped me out a lot with that. Uh, but definitely, you just work your way from where you are, and at this moment forward, you don't go out. You work your way in, and until you you don't rush it, but until you reach a stopping point, where like, okay, what do I do now? You research. That's what you do. You find out information on what it is that you're concerned about. And it doesn't have to be specific. It doesn't have to be exactly point on to what to sorry, excuse me, to what it is that you need to refer to in order to manage a way in further. It's just you need to kind of have like a full scope of information based off of where you stopped. So like whatever you're watching on TV, whatever you're listening to on the radio, whatever you're thinking about at the moment, whatever you don't want to think about at the moment, and what that may lead you to think about, things like that. You just research different things, and it can be general, it can be specific. It doesn't matter. Whatever you personalize in your optimization, and the platforms are there, the template is there, everything is there. Um, it's just a matter of setting the standard to fit your needs. So I mean, that's basically what I've done with my time here for the past. Well, speaking on traveling and working and everything, it's been. I mean, with all that. I mean, in this video that's almost 30 minutes long, I've pretty much done all that in about 5 years. So yeah, I mean, ever since maybe 4 years, ever since like 2016, 17. But the nitty gritty stuff, the detailed stuff, has pretty much been done in the past um, 4 months, maybe 4 or 5 months. So I mean, where all the details and everything, where it all fits in place, is pretty much 5 months work. And I thank the world, for putting it all out there. I thank everyone for keeping it to themselves, and I thank the big guys for leading the way, and I thank the little guys for looking up to us. So I mean, it's I mean, all of us, So it's very enthusing that I'm able to sit here and share all of this, because I feel like I've tried this many times before, many times before, and I've come to a stopping point where I thought, well, maybe I need to figure something else out. Maybe I need to work on this, or maybe I need to work on that. And now I feel like that all I need is to do is, just kind of make a way for currency to get back to where it was, and make sure that trade agreements, as far as the ones that lead the way and the ones that look up to them, don't get in the way of the ones trying to optimize. So um yeah, I mean, with that said, I mean, it's me, Jason M, and I'm signing out. So it's been a pleasure. I'm sorry I haven't kept up with every single day of it, like on Avatar, but Yeah, no, it's great. So yeah, thanks guys, and have a great life. See ya.